What's up guys, MTG23 here, and Apple just finished their event for their iPhone 7, and now we have the iPhone 7, and here are the top things you should know about it. Okay, so the first thing is, the iPhone is now IP67 water resistant and dust resistant, which means that if you jump in a pool, you really shouldn't worry about destroying your iPhone, but you definitely don't want to leave it in there. But a little water and rain won't hurt your iPhone anymore, which is good to hear, especially if you like to go in places where there's lots of water, like the beach or the pool or something like that. So that's awesome. So next, the home button is no longer an actual physical click. Instead, they have the taptic engine just like they do on the MacBook and the MacBook Pro. So you're no longer actually clicking it, it just feels like you're clicking it because they have a vibration motor behind it. Also, this vibration motor can be set to different frequencies, which allows it to have things like when you get a text message, it'll vibrate, and then when you get an email or something like that, it'll vibrate, but the vibrations will feel different so you know which is which. Also, third-party developers can take advantage of this using Taptic API, and then they can use that for games and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, and I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. The next thing you guys should know is that the camera is new and improved, and I'm only going to go over the things that are new because a lot of it is still the same. So it's a new 12 megapixel sensor, so this sensor should allow for more light. Now there's actually optical image stabilization on both models, not just the Plus. And then there's f1.8 aperture compared to the 2.2 on the 6S, and combined with optical image stabilization, that should definitely help for getting a lot better low light photography. Also, the optical image stabilization will help with video to keep it looking more steady, and now it no longer has to have as much processing to get rid of shaky video, so that's good. Also, there's a new quad tone LED true tone flash, which should help you guys get better photos when you're using the flash. And then there's the Plus model, and so there's no Pro model, but the thing that did happen that has been rumored for months is that there are two cameras on the Plus model. So the first camera is just like the regular camera that I've already talked about that's new on the iPhone 7. But the second camera is a telephoto 2.8 aperture lens. And so that gives you 2 times optical zoom, so it's not software zoom, which means you'll keep the same quality. Also, this allows for a new bokeh effect, which makes it look like there's a really shallow depth of field. I'm actually kind of excited to see how that turns out. And it's kind of like what HTC tried to do with the M8, where they kind of didn't really work. So let's hope that Apple executes this a lot better than HTC did. Also, for all you selfie takers, they did introduce a new 7 megapixel camera, which has an f2.2 aperture, which would help with low light selfies. Okay, so next is the elimination of the headphone jack. Rest in peace, headphone jack. You will always live in our hearts. Anyway, Apple actually handles this very well. So they actually now include Lightning AirPods, which is great. They also include an adapter, and they don't sell it for $30 extra. Thank you. So I guess one of the good things about the headphone jack being gone is that you can actually get more power to your earbuds or headphones, which allows them to sound better. Also, if Apple would include a high quality jack in there somewhere because of that extra space, it could also sound really good. Also, they did introduce AirPods, which I can talk about in another video if you guys want to hear about that. And I can also talk about the new Apple Watch and all that. Just if this video reaches like 25 likes, then I will do a separate video on the other product announcements that they did. Anyway, continuing on with this list, they introduced stereo speakers. So I'm not sure how stereo they are, but there is a top one and then there's a bottom one. And I'm interested to hear the difference between the iPhone 6S, the new iPhone 7, and then something like the HTC M9, which had amazing speakers, or something like the Nexus 6P that has front-facing speakers, to hear the difference between Apple's stereo and real stereo front-facing speakers. So Apple introduced the A10 processor, which is a quad-core processor. They didn't call it quad-core, but I'm going to, even though that may not be right. But it has 2 high-power cores and then 2 high-efficiency cores. And so the high-efficiency ones are meant for easy things like email and texting, whereas stuff like the high-power ones are meant for gaming. And so I'd be interested to see what other people are calling it, but I'm going to call it quad-core. Also, they introduced new graphics, which should allow, according to them, some console-like gameplay. So it should be pretty good graphics, and with Metal API and all that stuff, hopefully developers take advantage of that and create some really fun games for iPhone and iPads and stuff. Also, because of these cores, there is longer battery life because there's more efficiency throughout the whole entire phone. On the iPhone 7, it's supposed to last 2 hours longer than the 6S, and then on the iPhone 7 Plus, it's supposed to last 1 hour longer than the iPhone 6S Plus. So now on to the important things, the new colors. So they did introduce 2 new colors, and they kind of did away with the space gray. So again, they have the rose gold, which is pink, gonna be completely honest here. Then they have the gold, they have the silver, and then instead of space gray, it's now just called black. Very creative, Apple, very creative. And then they have my favorite, the jet black, which is a very glossy finish, but it's a very dark black, and it looks super good to me. And if I had to pick up an iPhone, that would be the one I would choose. And as far as storage goes, they finally did away with that 16 gigabytes. Now it is 32, 128, and 256 gigabytes. Who needs that? I mean, seriously. But I guess if you need that, you have the option now. I don't know. But also with this new system, they did introduce, for the first time ever, upgrading the storage inside the 6S. So now the 6S base is now 32 gigabytes. And then it goes up to 128, and those are the 2 options you have. So I guess that's an improvement if you were kind of holding out and you want to go with the 6S instead of getting the brand new 7, because the 6S will inevitably get a price drop. And if you want to check pricing, it's on Apple's site below. Just check the description box, as well as all the videos from Apple that I used. Anyway guys, I'm pretty hyped for this phone. It's going to look pretty good, but sadly I probably won't get my hands on it because I don't have that type of money. I'm definitely interested to see what other people think about it, and let the iPhone 7 hype train begin. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.